everybody. Welcome to another Doo Doo Biscuit episode of Fill in the Mic. I'm your host, as always, Darren. And with me, the man who just got back from LA. He was at a Lakers game taking pictures with Magic Johnson without the mask, Mr. Phil Calise. Phil, how was the trip to LA?
Holding my breath. I don't want
to. Now, how difficult was it to hold your breath when you were around such important people?
I almost died 4 times. That's the truth. I almost passed out.
Your face looked kind of like your no, actually it wasn't red. It was probably more purple. Yeah, I mean, listen, when somebody says that, I mean, I believe it. I think that makes perfect sense. So if you're telling me, like, even in New Jersey, if you go into some place and they have a mask mandate, you just tell them, I'm holding my breath. No worries.
I just run in and go, I go, oh, forgot the mask.
That's right. Don't worry about me. It's okay.
You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up.
It's funny, and just when you think you can't hear things that are even more ridiculous than what you've heard. I don't know if that might be the most ridiculous thing I think I've heard in a long time.
And we've heard a lot in the last few years. So that's...
No, I don't have to wear a mask. I can just I'll hold my breath. It's fine. It's fine.
You just shake your head. You just say, when does this just wake me up from this nightmare?
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, how you doing? How you feeling today? You all good?
I'm good. How about yourself? I'm excited. Well, Super Bowl week. I mean,
I hate I hate all the anticipation and the waiting around, the 2 weeks between the championship games and the Super Bowl. It's so annoying. But you know what the interesting thing is? Usually you see a lot about that between, during those 2 weeks time. I haven't really seen much about the Super Bowl at all.
So I mean, they're doing everything virtually, right? Again, so they're not doing any of the in-person stuff for like the big hoopla of the week leading up. I know the Bengals flew into town late, or later than teams typically come in. Yeah, you know what? So I liken this. So this is interesting, and I wonder what a lot of our viewers think. But we're big football fans. I mean, I pretty much consider myself pretty much as big a fan as you can be when it comes to the NFL. I mean, I watch my team every week, and I'm locked in most weeks to other teams.
Yeah.
I hate the Super Bowl. It's like the 2 weeks is just mind-numbing to me. That like you said, just the run up to it. I just don't want to hear about it for 2 weeks straight. It's just nauseating. And I think the other reason is, well, 2 reasons. One, we're Jet fans, so we're never in it. And 2, I liken it to when I was a kid during Christmas season. Yeah. Like you like the lead up, but then as it gets close, you think about like the I guess like the dramatic ending to it. Like, it's another long haul before football comes back.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think in a lot of ways, it's kind of like more depressing that it's happening than it is exciting, unless the Jets ever, want to grace us with an appearance. But,
well,
I'm pushing up on 4 decades and haven't seen one. So
it's true. And I also kind of look at it from another 2 perspectives. One, like the Rams, I mean, they're all the way out west. We've got no interest in the Rams. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, they're in Ohio.
This isn't the most exciting one, yeah.
It's really not. I mean, it's got the makings to be a great Super Bowl, but it's really not exciting. It's like Rams, Bengals, whatever. And not only that, the Olympics is going on at the same time. And so, that's another thing that I think is taken away a little bit from, like, I hear a lot about the Olympics. I mean, it's on 24/7, and I don't hear a whole lot about the Super Bowl, unless you're talking about betting. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
The prop betting and, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I've been extremely busy this week, so maybe I've just missed it, but it hasn't felt like it's been in my face either. Like I actually watched a couple college basketball games a couple days ago when I had a little bit of time. I just haven't been locked into even hearing a thing about it, which I actually like, because I don't really like to hear the analysis for all this time. It's so annoying. It really is. And this isn't a glamorous game. It's not. It's cool. I mean, I think there's cool storylines. There's always some neat ones, but this one doesn't totally knock your socks off, to say the least.
No. And listen, we're gonna talk a lot about it, but I just wanted to mention, I mentioned the name Doo Doo Biscuit
Oh
Any
yeah, I
idea?
was going to ask you about that.
Any idea what that is? So I was I don't remember what I was watching the other day, but the title was of the article, it was like 13-year-old strikes out Jose Bautista. And
Okay.
I'm like, all right, Jose Bautista, obviously we know, great home run hitter, and he also had like a perfectly shaped beard at all times. I've never seen somebody with such a clean looking, perfect beard.
He also got clocked in the face by that Texas Ranger.
Yeah, well, he probably deserved it. So I watched this thing, okay, and what it is it was a wiffle ball kid, right? This kid is such an unbelievable wiffle ball pitcher. Nobody can hit it. Like literally, I'm watching this pitch, right? It goes like 15 feet this way, curves back over the plate, and Bautista misses it. I mean, it was unbelievable. So I looked him up, Doo Doo Biscuit, and the stuff he does with the wiffle ball, mind-boggling. So if you ever get a chance, you gotta see this crap. It's unfreaking believable.
It's literally crap. It's Doo Doo Biscuit.
It's Doo Doo. How we got the name Doo Doo Biscuit, I don't know.
Because his stuff was filthy.
I think I'm gonna be poop. I'm gonna be poo-poo roll from now on. All right. Doo Doo Biscuit was already taken. It's just a great name, Doo Doo Biscuit.
Doo Doo Biscuit. You're gonna be what?
I'm gonna be
poo-poo roll. What?
Poo-poo roll.
All right, I'll be Dung Phil.
Dung Phil.
How about that? Dung
right,
Phil.
Well, I mean, you smell like that, so I guess that works out okay.
We got smell-o-vision here. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I had an exciting thing to tell you that I did not want to tell you until we got on the podcast.
Tell me, what is it?
I wanted to get your authentic reaction to this. Okay. It's going to knock your socks off.
I'm not wearing any socks right now. I'm sorry.
Knock your Indiana Hoosier hat off. Yours truly, Philip Calise, of the famous Phil in the Mic podcast, has almost completed 3 seasons of Cobra Kai.
Really?
Really.
How did you do that?
I didn't want to tell you as I was finally trying to binge it a little.
Oh my God.
We talked about me watching this like season 1 of our podcast, like last summer or something.
How the heck did you never watch TV?
I don't. I know. I one day I was like, man, I watched like 3 episodes of Cobra Kai. I really should go back and let me try to get into this thing. Watched an episode, watched the second one, got Raina to watch it. And now we're like almost done with, we started season 3. We're on season 3.
You're on season 3.
We started episode 1, season 3.
Wait, what are there? Are there 4 or
There's
5
4 on Netflix. So
there's 4. Okay. All right. Because
apparently they finished 5, but they haven't released it.
Okay. Because I watched 4. 4 was a great season too.
All right. So I just got into but I thought you'd be proud of that and excited. And,
I am very,
we'd share a moment on the podcast.
Wait, isn't the end of 2 the one where they had the big school fight?
Yes, which was intense. I was like, this fight's lasting for like 16 hours. You got a couple security guards.
What's going on? I mean, I felt like I was watching that. And I'm thinking like any second the bell's going to ring and they're going to go back to their corners. This thing was like never ending.
I was like, nobody has the stamina to fight for 57 minutes. Like, can we
crazy,
move on?
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a good show though. I got hooked. I like it.
Good. If you were me, you'd watch TV like it was going out of style. I've got a new thing right now that I'm hooked on, and that is on Netflix, Korean-made TV shows. Hooked. That's all I'm watching now is Korean TV. That's it.
Korean TV.
Korean shows. For some odd reason, I'm addicted to them.
Who's watching it with you? Are you just watching this by yourself?
Just me.
Wow.
I watch so much Korean TV. I'm going to start speaking Korean, even though they speak in English and the subtitles are English. Besides that, though, I can read their lips, so I know what's going on here,
Dude,
I'm going to surprise you one day. One of these days, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to come on the podcast, and I'm just going to do it all in Korean.
I'd be down for that. All right.
And we'll get some subtitles on the bottom so that people understand what I'm saying. So the last thing that I wanted to say, did you hear the famous Hannes Wagner card? You heard that another one sold. Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that one, but I know they $5 million, right? Was the highest?
I think it was 6.
Okay.
It was 6 mil. Like the best one was 6 mil. There's only 20, 30 copies of this thing
Yeah.
ever. So this one sold for $474,000.
So it was a trash one.
Well, it's not that it was a trash one. Okay. It was half of a card. Okay. Literally, it was torn. Like, I don't want to say it was like a straight line down the center, but it was literally half of a card. $474,000.
That's crazy.
Half of a friggin' card. I mean,
to me that would be worthless. Like,
but you know what? The thing is, it's such a rare, iconic card. I mean,
yeah.
even to have like own half of it is pretty crazy. You know,
Yeah.
and if you're poor like we are and you can only afford $500,000 for one half of a baseball card, I mean, what are you going to do? You do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. That's
so
crazy.
My man, I got some fun stuff for you today. We're going to do a little trivia. Little
SB trivia. Let's go.
ESPN has recently come out with their list of top 100 baseball players.
Oh, we're going baseball. Okay.
On baseball. Did you see this list?
No.
Okay. I was guessing that you hadn't seen it.
I haven't. I really have been locked in. Work has been whooping my hiney. So
okay. Here is my question for you.
All right.
Okay. In no particular order, I want you to name for me the top 10 baseball players of all time.
Based on who made this list?
ESPN.
And like, is it a list? Do they give you like a background as to how they compiled the list? Like criteria, I should say.
I want to say maybe it had something to do with war. Maybe.
Whoa. What is it good for? Okay.
But honestly, I'm not really sure. I mean,
all right, I'll take a crack at
the
it.
best players. Just
this is a pitcher. This is a pitcher hit or mix.
It's do you want me to give you? Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. Of the top 10, there's one pitcher.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll just name them and you tell me what number.
Okay. How many guesses do you think it's going to take you to get to 10?
Maybe I'll throw 13 names out to get to the top 10.
Okay. All right. I have a feeling you're going to get 9. I don't think you're going to get 10.
Oh, you don't think I'm getting it all? Okay.
I don't think you're going to get 10, but all right, let's hear it.
All right. We'll go with the great Babe Ruth.
Number 1.
Number 2. All right. I'm not going to try to go in order. Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron is number 3.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is number 2. Look at that. You got the top 3 already.
You said there's only one pitcher?
Only one pitcher. Yeah. I would wait until the very end.
You're scaring me because I thought I had it, but now you're making me rethink that. I'm still going to say the pitcher. Cy Young?
No. Cy Young is not in the top 10. Matter of fact, I don't even know where he is, to be honest with you.
He's got to be in the top 10. That's crazy. They named the damn award after him. Okay.
Well, that's because he pitched in 8 gazillion games.
I'm going to guess because it's a stupid list and they're going to do this. Barry Bonds is in it.
Barry Bonds is number 8.
Okay.
That's 4. Come on, just think about the famous
Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb is number 4. Yes.
Ted Williams.
Ted Williams is number 5.
I just hit the top 5. That's nice.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Lou Gehrig? No, not Lou Gehrig. I take it back.
Lou Gehrig was a hell of a baseball player. You know what? Lou Gehrig is number 6. I got to give it to you. You said his name.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll take it. How about Jimmy Fox?
Jimmy Fox is no. I don't even remember what number he was.
Stan the Man?
Stan the Man is number 10. Stan the Man is number 10. You got one more position player and a pitcher.
Oh, I'm almost there?
Yeah.
So the pitcher wasn't Cy Young.
From the area of the country that you live in, you've got to know who this guy is. He's number 7.
The pitcher?
No, the hitter.
Oh, Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle, number 7.
Okay.
Now, you've made, let's see, you've made
12
9,
guesses.
10, 11. No, you've made 11 guesses.
And I've gotten 9 out of the 10.
You've got 9. So this is
I said I could do this note in 13 notes, so I'm only 2.
You've got
I got 2
2
cracks.
guesses left, and it's a pitcher.
I'm not don't count this. I want to say Sandy Koufax. I'm not going to say it because I have a feeling he's not going to be it.
Mhm.
Let's go Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson is not correct. The best pitcher of all time, Bob Gibson? Really?
I mean, Cy Young isn't there, so well, excuse me a little bit. All right. Darn, I shouldn't have said Bob Gibson because I have 2 more guesses. Can I ask a question?
You can ask one question, yes.
Is this someone who pitched when I was alive?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson is the correct answer. And Phil Calise has done it in 13 guesses. My man.
Let's go.
You
know, actually, the reason I asked that question is because for whatever reason, because I know his WAR is off the chart, I was going to guess Pedro Martinez.
Not the best pitcher of all time.
I agree, but but the WAR is off the chart.
Yeah, when you're looking at pitchers and you're looking at, Walter Johnson's stats were as disgusting as anybody's.
I just figured Cy Young, they named the award after him, so he might be number 1 just by default.
But you got to remember, he had the most wins of all time. He also had the most losses of all time.
Yeah, well, he also had
And back then, they used to pitch 800
every 2 days.
So I think he won 511 games in 2 seasons. So I'm just saying, I don't know.
I called it 10 of 13. I'll take it.
But congratulations. I do have another trivia question based on that we'll see if we can get to at the very end. All right, but we've got a lot of
I'm feeling good right now.
Super Bowl stuff to talk about. All right. As we know, I'm coming in hot. You're coming in cold. You were 0-2 in the championship. I was 2-0 in the championship. So let's go with our 5 Super Bowl questions. Question number 1. Do you think that playing in LA gives the Rams a big advantage?
I don't even think their fans are going to deal with the traffic and show up. First of all, let's start with the idea that they only have maybe 150,000 fans that are actually Rams fans in that state.
Okay.
As a fairly new team. And let's also throw in the fact that almost every visiting team this year has had a good amount of fans there.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Now, I think there were more 49ers fans in the championship.
100%. Yeah, the only caveat being, I don't think Bengal fans can afford this ticket. That might help. That might help tip the scales in the Rams' favor.
That's terrible.
Dude, the ticket prices they said were astronomical. So
well, that's why it's going to be only celebrities. So there's going to be like 100 people there.
Right. So there's basically actually going to be like 8,000 Rams fans, 2,000 Bengal fans, and 60,000 governors of California.
That's right. Everybody hold their breath for 4 hours. It's going to be crazy.
Pass me the donut. Joke.
Well, let's hope that our favorite mayor of LA shows up to that game. Question number 2: can the Bengals offensive line, number 30 in the country for pass block, in the league for pass block the Rams D line, which was number 1 in pass rush?
Well, according to the stat metrics, it sure seems like a mismatch. It sure seems like a mismatch. Really, it seems like it's a problem. I think and you may get to this. When you look at it on paper, no, they won't be able to hold up. And it's why there is a sliver of a chance this is a blowout. If that happens, that the Rams do decimate the Bengals offensive line, it won't be a particularly good Super Bowl.
No.
And we can't act shocked if that happens because, the writing is on the wall that could happen. I tend to think there's just like something about the Rams that they never really play as good as you think they're gonna play. So I think, and then the Bengals have some magic, but if that does come to fruition, the stats do say they're gonna have trouble blocking Donald and Miller and and that line. So
I mean, it's interesting, and you know, and if you look back to the Cincinnati versus the Tennessee game, I mean, remember Tennessee had 9 sacks of Joe Burrow that game. I mean,
yeah,
and I
it,
don't remember them having the most incredible defensive line. And then you look at the Rams, who had 0 sacks against San Francisco, and it's not like Garoppolo is the best moving quarterback out there.
no. I mean, listen, there's a little bit of like a Cinderella feeling with the Bengals, right? Like, you know, where this could go one of two ways, like where it can go like they get past midnight and, you know, as the adage goes, it turns back into a pumpkin and they get blown out in the Super Bowl. I mean, it could be because you get a little feel like the Bengals are on borrowed time. They survived a Titan game they should have easily lost. They had a massive deficit to the Chiefs, who imploded. Like, they haven't exactly been steamrolling teams, it's fair to say.
That's true.
But then there's the side where it's like, well, one more game, one more magic, and they win the Super Bowl. So it's like it's hard to know what's going to end up coming out here.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And question number 3: how did the Bengals do it? I mean, 2 years ago they had the worst team in the NFL. They've never won a Super Bowl. Their coach was actually the QB coach under Sean McVay. I mean, how does a team? I mean, that's unbelievable that they were able to go from worst to Super Bowl in only 2 seasons. I mean, how the heck do you do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it shows you why the quarterback is the be all end all position. And until you get it right, you might as well almost draft one every year until you hit one. I mean, because it's such a, you know, and it's timing. They picked number 1 when a great one came out. It doesn't always happen. The kid seems unflappable. And really, I mean, no, with all apologies to Zach Taylor, I think he's done a nice job. But Zach Taylor won 4 games without Joe Burrow in 2 years. And then Joe Burrow gets there. And, you know, obviously they were playing pretty good last year. And then he goes down with the torn ACL.
Yep.
But they were like an exciting team that you could see emerging in a very tough division. Now, I don't think people thought this was the year they were going to become that team. I think people probably pegged them as 2-3 years down the road, but you could see it coming.
Yeah.
And the other thing they did is they hit on offensive players.
Yeah.
They drafted Jamar Chase, super high in last year's draft. He's a stud.
Yeah.
They drafted T. Higgins, I think at the beginning of the 2nd round, the year they drafted Burrow.
Yeah.
And so they added 2 dynamic receivers, and they actually gave their star young quarterback weapons. What a unique thing to think about, right? Like, give them weapons. And that's what they did. They actually didn't say, you know what, prove to us you're good. No, they gave him weapons, and it's borne out so far. So,
you know, it's funny because Burrow was so friggin' good that year at LSU. I mean, his season was just monstrous. And then he comes in the NFL. I know he got hurt, but you know, when he was playing, it was kind of like, all right, you know, you kind of expected him to come in. He was so good in college to be really good in the NFL. And I was even looking at it like, this guy, you know, he's, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But to take a giant step forward like he has and to really be the leader of that team, I'm just glad that they're not playing in Chicago or New York, because in Chicago, you know, he would be at the house alone. And in New York, I mean, he would get lost in Central Park with the lady that's got the birds all over her. So I'm just glad that they're going to LA, where he's got a chance of at least, you know, if he stays with the team, he won't get lost. He won't be home alone. Everything's going to be good.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see. Question number 4.
Donald Trump at the plaza.
I know,
yep. I'm with you.
Question number 4. Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. Who is more important to their team in this game, and who has the bigger game?
It's a good question.
Thank you. It's a tough one because, I mean, they're both phenomenal and they're both such a huge part of their team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say Cooper Kupp has the bigger game simply because Jalen Ramsey should be able to. He's a better defensive matchup
Yeah. Yeah.
on Jamar Chase, who's still a rookie, versus Cooper Kupp, who's going to move around a lot, probably be in the slot a ton. He's going to get matched up with second and third DBs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, if I had to pick, I would say Cooper Kupp will probably get targeted more. But I'll say this, Jamar Chase is more likely to hit a home run.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
He's more likely to have an 80-yard touchdown in this game. So both are probably likely to have massive games because I just think they're going to be targeted a ton.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
So.
I agree. I love that there's two receivers like this that just on the season, both of them have been virtually uncoverable. I mean, nobody's been able to cover these guys. So it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
Absolutely.
Question number 5. Are these teams just too likable? Like, there's nothing bad about these teams. Stafford, he was with Detroit. He finally gets the chance to go over. Burrow, he's this boy next door, this kid that's just had a phenomenal season. Aaron Donald, there's nothing he hasn't done. The young coaches. I mean, both these coaches are in their mid-30s. You've got 2 great kickers. I mean, phenomenal kickers. You've got Cooper Kupp, who came out of nowhere. You've got Andrew Whitworth, the oldest tackle to start a game in the Super Bowl at age 40. You've got Eric Weddle, who retired to come back and play. I mean, it's just, are there any bad guys here? I mean, is there anything that shoots out at you and says, you know what, I don't like this team for this reason?
Yes.
What?
I don't have any specific player I don't like. So I want to be clear. I don't like anything that comes from LA.
So it's just Los Angeles that you have a problem with.
I don't like the Lakers. I don't like the Dodgers. I don't like the Rams. And it is part. So it's not, again, a player, but I don't like how the Rams kind of like tried to buy this team. Like, I mean, I know it was like with a lot of trades, but like now there's like everybody wants to play in LA, so you can get all these veterans, and like Eric Weddle comes out of retirement, and OBJ gets cut, and now he's dying to go play there, and it's like I just don't like LA. So you got me. I'm not an LA guy. I'm not a Hollywood guy. So I like the rough and tumble Midwest, or give me somebody from the South, or the Bengals are the better city story to me. Like they haven't won it. They've been around a long time. The Rams, they left LA. I mean, LA has such a bad fan base. They left and went to St. Louis, then they came back.
Yeah.
I'm not a LA guy, so.
Okay.
But nothing against Stafford. I would have no problem with him winning a title, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I think both teams are very likable. Yes, I understand that Cincinnati is a little more of a likable city than LA because let's be honest,
little blue collar.
California's a little nuts, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's LA too. Like, it's rubs me the wrong way. We'll leave it at that.
So I got 4 storylines just to mention really quickly, and then we're going to get into some picks and some predictions here. First time 2 number 1 overall quarterbacks are playing against each other in the Super Bowl.
You mean the first overall picks and drafts? Two number ones.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. That's interesting, right? I think that's interesting. Aaron Donald, the guy has basically done everything in the world except win a Super Bowl. So for him, I hope they win a Super Bowl. Hope he's got a good game. For the first 54 Super Bowls, there has not been a home team that has played in the Super Bowl. Last 2 have been home teams.
Crazy, I know.
It's interesting, right? And then last thing is you've got a team built to win now versus a team that's built to win in the future.
It's very unique. Yeah. It's really,
I thought that was
a tale
really
of 2 builds. A tale of 2 ways to get there.
Yeah.
And it is fair. Like the Bengals have arrived early. Now, I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm going to guess this has probably happened, let's call it, I don't know, a half a dozen times where a team who you could see 2-3 years down the road being that team arrives really early.
Yep.
My hunch is it doesn't end well in the Super Bowl typically.
Yeah,
my hunch is the team that arrives a bit early, sometimes it actually causes an issue where you arrive a bit early, and then you've kind of peaked, but it was before you were ready to peak. So you weren't quite ready to win it all, but you got there. You don't win it all, and then it becomes hard to get back there, if that makes any sense. Like, I think that's happened on occasion with some of these teams. I hope that doesn't happen to the Bengals, but it does. I'm caught in between. Before, I know we're going to make the picks on the game, but I genuinely can say I don't have a good feel for this game.
It's a really, really tough game. And I mean, you've got two really good teams that are both playing really well. They're not destroying anybody. They're just doing what they have to do to win. And
Yeah.
it's crazy to think about. And I think right now, I think the opening spread was Rams 4.5, but I think that's gone down to 4.
Yeah.
And
I mean, but it really hasn't moved much.
no,
I mean,
it's been pretty consistent.
Yeah,
It's been pretty consistent. And I think the over under is about 48.5. So so what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
You want to go first?
I can go first if you want me to. Yeah.
You tell me what you're thinking.
Well, for one, when I look at this game, I'm looking like it is pretty evenly matched. It is. And I think that Cincinnati's game plan is going to be a lot of running, a lot of short passes to get the ball out of Burrow's hands before the defense has time to come up. So I like what the Bengals do. I think that their defense showed up at the second half of the championship game, and they were they were crazy, ridiculous, shutting down the Chiefs the way that they did. I think it's going to be one hell of a game. I think that it's just going to go back and forth all game long. And I think in the end, I think that the Bengals are going to be able to kick a field goal at the end of the game, because let's face it, that's how every playoff game now ends. And I like them winning this game by 1 point. I think the Bengals are going to cover. I think the Bengals are going to win. And I also think in the end, I think it's going to be under 48.5. So I'm going to take Bengals plus 4.5, and I'm going to go with the under of 48.5.
It's interesting. It's definitely what I'd be rooting for. It's what I will be rooting for, besides my Super Bowl box numbers to come out, that I'm in a couple different Super Bowl boxes.
Come on, Dung Phil, let's hear it.
Dung Phil. So here's what I think. I do think there's a chance this is a blowout, and that being just because the Rams do put a ton of pressure on Burrow, and the Bengals don't hold up, and I can see that being an issue. But I don't think it's going to play out that way. But I am concerned with that. It's definitely a concern, and I wouldn't be stunned if we're watching a game where the Bengals have trouble scoring because Burrow's running for his life and they can't block. So I wouldn't be shocked. I think this is going to be a game where Burrow does make some plays. Stafford makes a big mistake or two to keep the Bengals hanging around. I just think Stafford throws too many interceptions. He throws too many like jump balls. I don't love. He's good. He's 10 times the upgrade over Goff. But he's done some stuff this year that I haven't loved. So I do think, I think it is a good game. I actually think it's a pretty low scoring game, like pretty significantly low scoring. I think in the end, I'm going to be disappointed in the Rams win. And I actually think they do cover, but I think they cover in like a very methodical cover. And it is a lower scoring game. So I'm going to throw a score out. I'm going to go Rams 22, Bengals 16. I think it's going to be like one of those odd scoring games where there may be like a missed 2-point conversion or maybe a made 2-point conversion, a couple field goals mixed in. So I'm going to go Rams. I'm going to go Rams minus the 4.5, but under the 48.5. And I'll give my Super Bowl MVP. And I know you didn't do this. I'll give my Super Bowl MVP to Von Miller.
Von Miller.
As Aaron Donald gets double teamed a lot, and Von Miller ends up with trio sacks.
Well, I am gonna do something similar. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 24-23. That's what I think the game is going to be. And I'm jumping on the Joe Burrow bandwagon. I think Burrow is the MVP.
I like it. I'll be rooting for you to be correct.
You know what? I will be too.
That's a first. I'll be rooting for you over me. It's a first.
That's really odd. That's really odd. So there you have it, people. There's the Super Bowl predictions, the Super Bowl preview. As long as it's a great game, which it has to be, just the trend, this playoff, if this is a great Super Bowl, we're all going to look back and say, you know what, this playoff season was just ridiculous. This is what football is made of. And if it's a great Super Bowl, guess what? I think the NFL is going to even become more popular just because the fans are just loving what they're seeing right now.
And if they become any more popular, we'll have a Wednesday package of games coming up.
That's right. Might as well.
On Hulu TV.
Might as well. And you might as well have teams all over the country. You know, if you want to bring the world together, let's put a team in North Korea. Let's put a team.
I would love that. Now that when they get on the mic and go, we got a do or die game coming up, folks.
Literally, they're all standing there with their guns.
It'll be literal.
I wanted to just briefly talk about something with you. And I know this is going to be an ugly topic, but I wanted to talk about the NFL Pro Bowl. I know that you watched it because I sure as hell didn't watch it. Honestly, I don't know if anybody watched it because I think it's a complete waste of time. But anyway, the AFC beat the NFC 41-35. After 3 quarters, the AFC was actually up 41-21, and there was 2 just give me touchdowns at the very end. But a couple of things I wanted to mention to you. AFC rushed the ball 8 times for 1 yard. Just saying. NFC 21 for 52 yards. So it was a massive, massive running game there. There were 7 TD passes, and the one rushing touchdown was by a wide receiver, Diggs. The MVPs, co-MVPs, Justin Herbert, 7 for 11 for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Max Crosby, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 3 pass deflections. I don't know, but whatever, blocks, which is pretty crazy. The best stat about this was that although there were 8 touchdowns scored, there were 7 interceptions. 7 interceptions, and there were 2 pick sixes. Okay, this is how great this game is. So my question to you, 3 questions. 1, why the hell did they even play this game? 2, is there any value to this game whatsoever? And 3, are there any all-star games that are actually worth watching nowadays?
No.
What do you think of the major sports? What do you think is the best all-star game?
The hockey all-star game.
You think the hockey is what?
By far, yeah.
Why?
Because so it's an open game the way they play it, but it's hockey's very exciting when they open up the ice and just let like the really skilled players go. I think there's something about that game that's pretty good. And for a long time, they still hit and they still played, and they would lock in kind of late in the game or late in the periods. I always thought that was done the best. I also thought the skills competition in hockey was always fun.
Yeah.
Getting back to the NFL, I don't know why they don't just have an awesome skills competition and just call it a day. Like, I don't know why they have to do a gimmicky game. Just do an awesome skills competition. They already do it. Like they do it the day before or whatever, but make it like this big deal. Like make it super fun.
Yeah.
Put all these different things out there and just don't play a game. There's no reason for a game. They didn't even tackle in that game. They were literally like, basically like pushing each other, and they were blowing the whistle at the first contact.
Yeah.
So nobody wants a hit anyway. So why bother?
It's true. It's a complete waste of time. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's dumb. And I get it. It's the NFL. Like these guys don't want to get hurt hitting each other when the season's over. Most of them have been off. And by the way, they play it the week. And I know that's a new thing. They play it the week before the Super Bowl. But like oftentimes the 2 best teams, and this year maybe not the case, but there's usually a lot of players that can't participate because they're in the Super Bowl. So it's like the whole thing is weird. It's like
it doesn't make any sense.
Just do away with it.
No, it's crappy. It's really crappy. It's just a complete waste. Let's get to a little baseball. And before we talk about the lockout, I wanted to mention a couple things really quick, if I could. And that is number one. How excited are you that AAA has expanded from 144 to 150 games?
Huge.
I mean, it's so exciting, right? I mean, I read that and I was like, oh my
That's
God,
one
I
and a
can't
half
believe
more bus rides to Scranton.
I know, right? From what Andy McGaffigan was telling us, it's riding on those buses that don't have air conditioning and they leak and yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty disgusting. And then this lockout. I mean, pitchers and catchers are supposed to report next week. What's the latest that you're hearing on this thing?
So I've been very optimistic every time we've spoken. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I gave you, I think the last time we spoke about it, I said this is the first time I'm feeling not as optimistic that they'll
yeah. You
start on
did.
time.
Yeah,
I do think they make a deal. I really do. I think there may be a delay to spring training, but I think they really protect the start of opening day because they have a couple weeks, right? Pitchers, catchers could report a couple weeks late. They could still cram in spring training,
yeah.
cut a half dozen games out of it if they need to and start on time. Um, I think the two things that broke today was the universal DH now has been agreed upon. I know that's not a huge one from a standpoint that most thought they would agree to it. Like I think the owners were even like conceding, the National League was kind of conceding it's time. These guys don't know how to even bunt anymore. So what's the point? It's kind of a joke. Even as a National League guy, I've
Is
kind
that
of softened on it.
now? Is that
I,
for this? Is that for this season
yeah,
that they?
immediate. Yeah. It'll be
Oh,
immediate.
that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm a National League guy. I've always been anti the DH coming to the National League, but I do understand in my lifetime, there's only a half dozen pitchers that can hit anymore.
Yeah.
And even position players can't bunt properly. So like these pitchers are going up there and it's a joke. It's pointless. So just be done with it. Now, so I think that's good. I think the other thing they got rid of or they just agreed to is now if you do sign a free agent, it's not tied to any compensatory draft picks. So if, I think that was to protect the small market teams,
Yeah.
but I think the big market teams have had enough of like, just because I want to go spend money, why am I
Yeah.
being penalized?
It's true.
By forfeiting a draft pick. That makes no sense. And so I guess they all agreed, or the big time, big market owners, squeezed the small market guys and said, you're killing us with all these little things. So now there's a lot of things they're not even close on yet. And apparently Saturday's a big day because the MLB owners are going to come back with a proposal, a third counter, I think it is. If that isn't totally shut down, if the perception is there was some good faith movement there, I think they're going to get a deal done. If what leaks out is that it was like a joke of an offer, then I think we're in trouble. I think if on a third iteration, the owners are putting out an offer that's perceived to be insulting to the players, I think we're running out of time to start on time. So let's hope the players don't think that this time. And again, as a baseball fan, it's not even who's right and wrong. It's like, I wish they could just huddle up and say, between COVID, between the lack of popularity with baseball, do you think this is a good time to do this again? Like, do you think another lockout that digs into the season and costs more games is going to be good for like popularity? I mean, come on, guys. It's going to hurt everybody.
Yeah. Well, and we don't have a Sosa McGuire to come back and save baseball. They can't get in the Hall of Fame, but those guys did save the game.
And by the way, you just brought up that's the third thing. They just announced that there'll be no more steroid testing.
But that's only because I think that's only temporary because the agreement ran out. They don't have a new agreement, so they're not currently testing for steroids.
I'd have to look into that more. I thought they said they've agreed to do away with steroid testing.
If that's the case, then it's open season. Barry Bonds is going to come back and play.
That's what I was thinking. So I need to look into that more. I thought that's what I read.
If that's the case, then you're going to have all these guys that can knowingly do steroids, which means all of the steroids got to get in the Hall of Fame because everybody's going to start doing steroids. I mean, think about it.
I agree.
If you're a player and they're not testing steroids, what the hell?
If they've negotiated that now steroid testing has been removed long term, like for good,
there's no way.
Then I don't think so either. But I swear that's what I read. So
it was because I read that too. It was because the deal ended. So right now they're not testing. That's what that means.
Well, yeah. Well, that makes sense though, because they have no right to test. Like
Right,
there's
right.
no
They can't enforce anything right now.
right. They
There's no
can't
deal
enforce
with
anything
it.
right now.
Right.
So
Exactly.
maybe I misread it. So okay.
Exactly. So a couple of things that I wanted to mention to you. Who's got the worst name? The Washington Commanders or the Cleveland Guardians? And we were wrong about the Commanders. We thought it was going to be the Admirals.
Yeah. I actually don't hate the Washington Commanders.
You're okay with that?
I don't hate it.
You don't
I
hate
don't.
it?
Cleveland Guardians.
I don't know, man. I would prefer if they would become the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians personally.
Well, those days are over.
You know,
I actually would prefer if they would have flip-flopped the names and confused everyone.
Yeah, the Cleveland Commanders and the Washington Guardians.
No. I actually meant the Cleveland Redskins and the Washington Indians.
And the Washington Indians.
Just a little
let's
ha-ha.
try this for a while and see if anybody
An
likes
April
this.
Fool's joke. Yeah, just drop that on Twitter on April.
I'm wondering when the Atlanta Braves are going to trade. Change their name or their
what
mascot.
about the Florida State Seminoles with their
bad news, man? It's bad news.
I mean, let's go get everybody.
Bad news. I mean,
and what about those pesky Irish, those leprechauns?
Oh man, I mean,
the fighting Irish. I mean, can you be more stereotypically wrong? Why don't they just call them the Notre Dame drunken slobs? I mean,
to say that they don't behind your back, I don't know.
Right. I mean, come on. When are we coming for the fighting Irish? You
know, the play like a champion sign that they all hit before they go in. If you turn it over, it says play like a drunken Irishman, you know?
That's it. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen,
the USC Trojans, I mean, that's insulting.
Well, I mean, I'm more of a lifestyle guy myself, but anyway.
You know.
What do you think about what Tom Brady said about how he created all this speculation? Do you think you'll ever play again? Well, I'll never say never. And, you know, and then there's speculation that the San Francisco 49ers, who are like his team growing up, like their quarterback's not going to be ready and they don't want to play Garoppolo and maybe he'll play a year there. Or you've got Josh McDaniels, who's his buddy, who's coaching in Las Vegas. Maybe he goes there and play. But a lot of people are saying it's kind of a conspiracy theory in a sense that he retired because the Buccaneers are a mess. They're going to be way over the cap. Their team is going to be decimated and they're not going to be good next year. So he's like, you know what, the hell with this. I'm getting out of here. They part on good terms. He doesn't take his $15 million bonus because he's a good guy. And, you know, I mean, I know he needs the money, but you know, so what do you think about that, man? You think it's all just BS? It's just to create a story that we're going to be talking about for the next 6 months? Or do you think maybe there is some validity to that?
My conspiracy theory is Giselle was tired of being blamed for his retirement and said, Tom, you tell them you may play again, Tom. I cannot get yelled at anymore on the Twitter.
I'll tell you, man, your Giselle accent, you could literally do that all day long. I would just be rolling on the floor.
I don't know. I think that's what it was. Tom, put down the TB12.
Tom.
You tell them something. They yell at Giselle, make Giselle sad.
Oh my God. You know,
I don't know.
And I was looking at his new clothing line that came out, which is, by the way, expensive as hell.
I would imagine.
The sweatshirt, right? It's just a plain sweatshirt that says Brady on the front. That's what it is, Brady. It's like $150. Pair of sweatpants are like $75. T-shirt, $50. I mean, it's like, and all they say, what's the brand? It just says Brady on it. I mean, dude, think about it, man. If my name was Brady, like if I was Brady Michael or you're Brady Khalees, that'd be awesome, man. You can buy all those clothes. And
Gronk should overshadow him and come out with his own stuff. That's like $4 each.
$4. That says Gronk on it, right?
It's just got like a hole in the middle of it.
Except Gronk never wears a T-shirt, so it would just be like markers that you can write Gronk on your chest. You know?
Gronk angry.
And did you hear what Gronk said this week?
Yes, he'd play with Joey B.
That's the only. Remember, he said he would only play with Brady. Now he's saying he'll play with Joe Burrow. So how much are the Bengals celebrating that? Because if he plays, guess what? He's going to play in Cincinnati.
If I'm the Bengals, I get him on the phone right now. Hey, any chance you can come out here to LA? We got a big game.
You want to play in the Super Bowl? Come on over.
Little trial. We'll put you through it.
We'll
That
see
would
how
be
you
some
play.
weapon for that'd be some weapon for Burrow next year.
I mean, another, and they got a stud running back too. So if they can,
Mhm.
so think about it, man. You've got your passer, you've got your receivers, you've got your running back. You can really just focus on your offensive line.
Which they do need to. They need to be careful they don't get Burrow killed. So
Yeah, seriously, that's part of it. You don't want to tear up his other knee. So interesting. And then, what is your opinion on this Brian Flores huge lawsuit and the Rooney Rule? And I don't want to get into it too much because I understand the Rooney Rule and I think there's good intentions behind it. But the fact of the matter is, he said, "Oh, well, they had already decided on who they wanted, but they interviewed me because they had to interview me." And I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, well, they had already decided on who their coach was, but because of the Rooney Rule, they have to interview a minority. Like, when you look at it from that perspective, I think it's a bunch of crap. Like, you're forced to interview somebody that you don't want, and I don't think it has anything to do with race or color or background or whatever. It's just, if you've got your heart set on these couple people, then why do you have to interview somebody else just because of the color of their skin? It seems like it's a real fine line, and I'm sure he's brought up some interesting points. I don't know what to think of the whole thing, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, I think like everything else, there's a whole lot of rules that get put in place across all sports that have these unintended consequences. Like, look at NIL in college sports and the transfer portal. I'm sure these were all thought of as wonderful things, right? Like, let's get these kids a couple bucks.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let them transfer, like the coaches can leave. And next thing you
a
know, you
mess.
turn college football into free agency
You
and
did.
you turn the NIL into the highest bidder. And
Yep,
it's
yep.
1 year in and it's just a chaos.
Oh,
And
it's
these
disgusting.
college coaches have come out with the transfer portal and said, if they don't play their freshman year, they just go in the transfer portal. Like, nobody tries to work to earn a spot. Everybody
That's
just
right.
disappears. So like, I use that as an example to say there's lots of unintended consequences. I think the broader idea behind the Rooney Rule was to get exposure to candidates who wouldn't normally get a chance to interview. And like, the worst case scenario is they get the exposure that maybe doesn't land them that job, but then sets them up to be more of a name in the future. I
I'm
think the
okay with
NFL,
that.
I
I'm
think
okay
the
with that.
NFL's problem with like minority coaches is that they don't they don't have as good a pipeline because they're playing catch up on decades of not hiring as many minority coaches to like assistant coaches and coordinators and all this other stuff. And that's where it all funnels from, right? So it's like a pipeline. So if 95% of all the assistants in the 90s were white, then it stands to reason that the next decade or two, most of the top candidates are white, right? Like, they're gonna be, because that's who got all the opportunities at the lower levels to work their way up. So I think that's an issue, and I don't think it's so easily correctable. And the Rooney Rule doesn't really help. To your point, you do get a bunch of like token interviews that I don't think does anything. But I gotta say, I don't know enough about Brian Flores, and I don't like what I heard with the Miami owner potentially offering him money to lose games to tank. That was a big thing. If that's the case, you're going to see a new owner in Miami if they prove that to be true. You can't
Yeah.
collude to
No,
tank games.
no,
That
you
dude's going
can't
to
at
lose
all.
his ownership at some point if that's true. But with Flores and the Giants, and the Giants don't have the best track record. They've never had a black head coach. So I don't want to defend the Giants, and I don't like the Giants. But it sounds like they really liked Flores, and they had already interviewed another black candidate. So he wasn't the token quote unquote interview. They already had fulfilled the Rooney Rule with Leslie Frazier. They didn't need to interview Brian Flores. To me, it sounds like the Giants were split. They have two owners, two primary owners. They have Mara and Tish. Mara is obviously the owner forever, and then Tish came in later.
Yep.
Apparently, Mara wanted a previous head coach, and Tish wanted to just let the new GM, which was the Buffalo GM, hire who he wanted. And of course,
Yep.
the Buffalo GM wanted his guy from Buffalo. So I don't think I think Mara wanted a head coach with experience,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because the Giants have went down the coordinator role three times in a row and been burned. It hasn't worked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I don't think Flores was a token candidate. I think he really had a shot to get the job, and they just went the other way. But who knows? I mean, it's not, we're very race sensitive right now as a country, and
Yep.
these are all just big topics. They're heavy topics. So I don't know, but every hire isn't based on race, and every decision isn't somehow a slight towards somebody. But there hasn't been enough opportunities over the years.
Yeah.
And I think it starts at the lower levels. There hasn't been enough coordinators, what have you. And I think if you're a conspiracy theorist, Eric Bieniemy didn't get a job again. He's supposed to have been the hot candidate for 2 or 3 years, the Chiefs OC. So there's a couple guys that I think, even Leftwich in Tampa, Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
There's some guys that I think people thought would be head coaches, and they aren't. So I don't know why.
I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe I'm naive. I don't see color. I don't see race. I really don't believe in any of that stuff. I'm the kind of person that believes in the best candidate, no matter what it is in life. And if the person is white, black, red, purple, green, to me, it doesn't make a difference. I'm looking for the best candidate that fits with what I want to do. That's what it comes down to in the end. But listen, I don't know. And I'm white, so I can't, I can't look at it from another perspective.
Well, and the joke is usually like, nobody cares about, like, when you deal with billion dollar sports and all the money, like, the joke is usually nobody sees red or white, red or black, they see green.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, you want to win, right? It's a $1 billion operation, but
that's what it comes down to.
I think it's realistic to say, if historically you have these pipeline of candidates that have been mostly white, because that's who's mostly been the coordinators, that it stands to reason that a lot of the head coach opportunities come in that circle.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, that's a problem that needs 2 decades of fixing. You can't fix it overnight.
No.
Now, college football has tons of black coaches.
Yeah, it does.
Because they've been given more opportunities in the college ranks. So I don't think it's an issue with college football.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, so and there's a bunch of white athletic directors mostly making those calls. So I don't think it's an issue that way. Yeah. I think the NFL is only 32 jobs, and people hire the people they know.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of one of those deals. If you want to change that, I don't think the Rooney Rule does it.
No.
I think you just got to get more. I think, what I think? Actually, I think the best thing that is one of the only good things I've seen is, if you get a minority hired off your coaching staff, you earn draft picks. Did you see how, like, the Niners got 2 more draft picks for actually getting one of their staff members who was a minority? He got hired, like Salah, right? He's a minority. He got hired. The Jets hired him, and the NFL awarded the Niners 2 third-round picks for that, I think it was. So it's like a cool incentive if you get your people hired, and it's slanted towards minorities. But I kind of like that, because that's not that meant they like that person.
It's
so
interesting.
It's kind of like a wrinkle that's like, okay, I could live with that. I think that's okay. But the Rooney Rule, I don't like. I never liked it.
Well, listen, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, and is it one person's word against the other person's word with this Flores thing? I mean, is there any kind of written proof? I mean, if it's a conversation the 2 of them had, it's really, really tough to prove that.
Well, and Belichick, this is all from Belichick, right? Like the text from Belichick, but that doesn't prove anything.
No, it really doesn't.
Belichick could be wrong, period. He could have just had bad information. Like, that's not a smoking gun. Like, people sold it like it's a smoking gun. Yeah. Certainly, where there's certainly some reason to roll your eyes at that and say, wow, but it's not like a provable thing that proves that means anything.
Yeah. It's interesting. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Before we go, I just got a couple things that I just wanted to mention. Another reason why I can't stand the NBA, the Wizards assistant coach, Mike Batiste, jumped into the stands during a game the other day to confront a fan.
Cool.
Okay. I'm so sick of these guys. I mean, it's words. It's COVID
made everybody babies.
I mean,
they played in front of nobody, and they now can't handle being heckled at all. Or booed.
I mean, he gets heckled, and the guy literally jumps into the scene. I mean, it's the way it is. It's part of the game. There's hecklers, Stop kicking these people out. Stop making the mascot sit on the other side of the stadium. I mean, it's just, it's so ridiculous. These guys have become so soft. I can't even take it. I can't even take it. Can't even take it. Congratulations to Trevor Bauer. Big congratulations. He will not face criminal charges. Congratulations on, what was that? It was sexual assault?
Yeah, I don't want to congratulate him.
Of course not. Of course not. But of course, where did that take place? Well, the decision was made by the DA in where? LA. Didn't see that coming. They don't believe in putting anybody in jail or punishing anybody. So that was okay. So Major League Baseball can still punish him, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I know he's a heck of a pitcher, but it's not a real quality human being if that was the case. But
I think the best punishment they could do to Trevor Bauer is trade him to the Orioles.
I would not wish that on anybody. All right, that is just awful. That's an awful thing to say, man. That is really, really mean. SEC had a banner year as a conference, and they just gave out of this is just SEC revenue. They gave out a bonus of $55 million per school. Okay, you wonder why everybody wants to join the SEC.
54.2 of that million will go towards the next Alabama quarterback in his NIL deal. He's only in 9th grade right now, but in 2 years he'll be cha-chinging away. You got to pay him. You got to pay him right away. So that makes sense. Congratulations to Joe West. You know who Joe West is? Yeah, umpire. He retired after umpiring 5,460 games. He started umpiring before you were born, 1976. He's been umpiring for 45 years. Oh my Lord. Congratulations. What a friggin' career. And interesting, Bob Saget's cause of death. Did you hear about that? Yeah, he bumped his head, went to bed, woke up dead. Yeah, crazy. It must have been like a 1 in a million thing where he hit just a certain spot. He had a brain bleed, didn't even realize it, and it's horrible. It's horrible. It's really bad. And Jeremy Giambi at age 47 died. I kind of compare him to being famous for the same reason that like Ozzie Canseco is famous. But he was a huge steroid user, he and his brother. And the report that I'm hearing today is that it was suicide. Which is unfortunate. So I wonder if steroids had something to do with that. I don't know what the prolonged effect are of steroids. So that is all that I have, unless you got a couple minutes for my last part of the trivia question. Let's go. All right. Getting back to the top 100 list. Oh, geez. All right. I'm going to give you 8 guesses because I feel good about myself. There are 6 current baseball players that made the top 100 list. Name them. Trout. Number 15. He's the 15th best baseball player in history. That's pretty crazy. Scherzer came in at number 65. Is he considered still active, Mr. Pujols? He is considered still active. He's number 30. Wow. And now he can DH this year in the NL. Let's go with Kershaw. No, Kershaw is not in the top 100. Clayton Kershaw is not in the top 100? Nope. There's 2 other hitters and 1 more pitcher. No way. Yeah. Kershaw is not in the top 100. That would be bananas. That's not right. He's not in the top 100. How many hitters? 2 more hitters and 1 pitcher. And a pitcher not named Clayton Kershaw? Yeah. Now, one of the hitters, I still can't believe he's in the top 100, but oh well. 2 hitters. Yep. Come on, one is super obvious. He is a
first ballot on top of first ballot, you know?
So he's
Not
got to be
many.
old. So he's old.
Well, he's actually not old because he started playing when he was like 13 in the majors. Um, he's one of the rare guys that has 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. He's not really going strong anymore, but he's still playing.
He's not going strong anymore, but he's still playing. He has 500 home runs and 3,000
Come on.
hits.
You've already have one guess that was wrong. So you only have one more bad guess. What, two more?
I'm still baffled by Kershaw. That
Yeah,
threw me off.
I know.
500 homers and 3,000 hits. Oh, is it Beltre?
Beltre's not active, dude.
Adrian Beltre is not active. I mean, he played forever.
No, but he's been retired for a couple of years.
Is he?
Yep.
Harper?
Harper is number 94, if you can even believe that, which I can't.
I mean,
Number 94.
All right. So then what am I at? 8 guesses, 7 guesses?
This is it, man. You've got two more players. You've got a hitter and a pitcher. The hitter is hands down a first ballot Hall of Famer. And this pitcher, I would say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer personally.
Oh, so when I said Adrian Beltre, actually I was thinking of this other guy. Is it Nelson Cruz?
It is not Nelson Cruz. That's it, man. You're out.
The pitcher too is bothering me.
Pitcher. It's because he didn't play last year because he was out with Tommy John.
Who?
He was hanging out with Tommy John and his supermodel wife.
Oh, Verlander?
Verlander, number 72.
Okay.
And you still don't know the 300, 500, the 3,000.
I'm just drawing a blank.
He won a World Series with the Marlins when he was younger.
Oh, Cabrera. Okay.
Cabrera. Yep.
I just forgot about him. Are you sure Kershaw's not on that list, dude?
He's not in the top 100, 100%.
I can't believe that, though. There's no way Verlander's ahead of Kershaw.
Well, I'll have to look back at the list.
I'm going to have to look. What is this list called?
It's the ESPN top 100 baseball Hall of Famers, not baseball players of all time. And none of the guys that are on the list were struck out by Doo Doo Biscuit either.
Yeah, well, Doo Doo Biscuit's the man. So,
but Dung Dung Phil, did well on the first one, and Poo Poo Roll didn't. Poo Poo Roll never takes part in these questions. It's always you, and I'm the one that probably knows all the answers anyway.
Listen, man, I'm really like
a baseball historian.
All right, so stupid face. Clayton Kershaw's on the list.
Oh, what is he?
52.
Oh, he's 52.
You threw me off when you said no to him, and you got me all screwed up.
All right. Do you know what the funny thing is about these stupid trivia things?
I was going to say it didn't make any sense. Kershaw's been a beast for so long.
Yeah. You know what's funny about these things? Whenever you don't do well on these things, it's normally because I've made a mistake. You ever notice that? I mean, how pathetic is that?
No. I totally forgot Miguel Cabrera still played baseball. I just forgot he was still in the league.
And you know what? I think he's
on 36. The Tigers.
He's not even like that
old.
No,
because he did start at like 19. You're right.
Yeah, it was like
he hit 2 home runs in the same World Series game as a rookie.
Yeah. I mean, crazy.
He hit him off.
Crazy.
I think he hit him off Clemens.
Oh, did he really? Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. He's had an unbelievable career. I mean, he won a Triple Crown for God's sakes.
No, he's amazing.
But but he is definitely way past his prime. He should be retired. Pujols should be retired. Let's be honest. And Bryce Harper in the top 100.
Yeah, I guessed it, but I didn't believe it. Yeah,
I don't. I mean, dude, there's no way he should be in the top 100. I mean, I can think of a whole bunch of guys that are better than he is that aren't in the top 100.
I agree.
But anyway, it's an interesting list. So if anybody gets a chance and you want to look up that list, it's interesting. And I think the top 10 are probably right on, except the Walter Johnson thing that's a tough one. That's a tough one to get. But it was interesting. You know what else I was going to ask you? I was going to ask you the top person at each position. Maybe we'll do that next time. So
sounds like a delay.
So Mr. Khalees, man, let me be the first to wish you a early happy birthday. I believe it's number 40, right?
Yes, sir.
How does that feel?
It's a little depressing, to be honest.
I don't remember that, man. I am way past that, so I don't remember.
This one's the first one that's ever hit me like, pow, right here.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
This one's hurting.
Interesting. Well, I mean,
We are
to
at
me,
8 days away. 8 days away.
You don't look any older than like 45.
Cool. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'm aging like a fine prune, is what you tell me.
And you got a great haircut too. So
my mom tells me I don't look 40. She tells me I look much younger.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Listen, that's what moms are supposed to do.
True.
They go to class, and that's one.
Also, my mother-in-law says I look under 40 too.
Yeah, but her eyesight's going bad. So
True.
All right, my man. Well, you will not be here next week, so I don't know if there's going to be a podcast next week or not. I may have a special guest on to talk about. The one thing we didn't talk about was today and yesterday. There's been just crazy NBA trades. I mean, I'm looking at some of these names and I'm like, damn, I didn't see that happening. So maybe we'll do that. But listen, man, have a great birthday. Have a great birthday week, and enjoy the Super Bowl. And I hope everybody has a great weekend and enjoys the game, because I think this has got a real chance of being an all-time great. So thanks everybody for your support. Keep listening. Tell people about us. We like to keep growing, even though our stats on YouTube, the YouTube stats keep changing, which is really pissing me off. But
they're trying to hijack our revenue stream. Get that in there.
Excuse me. Woo. Anyway, everybody, take care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Fill the Mic.